Welcome to the Malibu studio. Today I've got a really important question for you. Are you friends with your food? It's an important question, says the dietitian that we're talking to today, to find out how you actually feel about the food that you're eating, the choices you're making. Are you struggling to decide whether you should have this or this? So today we're going to ask you what you're really hungry for. Hey guys, I'm with Kim Shapira. As I think I mentioned to you, she is an author. This is what you're really hungry for. I cannot wait, because I kind of thought all along this is what I was hungry for. And Kim said, no, probably not, right? Thank you for joining us. You wrote this book for a really good reason. What was the deal?
Well, I have just watched people suffer for so many years in dealing with trying to lose weight and following a diet plan, and I really needed to get them away from that mindset and back into their bodies. So I wrote it to help people to really figure out what they're hungry for, which is peace around their health and wellness.
I love that. And guys, so I had a PDF. I didn't get the big hard copy, but now I have it. I'm really excited. Just story after story about people, and they're just like you. You're going to feel so much better about, oh yeah, I don't know why I eat, I have to have, like my daughter. I couldn't just have a burger and the shaker salad and the small fry, Mom. I had to have the meal deal. I had to have the two cheeseburgers and the fries. I don't even want to go if I can't have that. So it kind of makes you feel better about, it makes you think about your food.
Yeah.
What a concept.
Yeah.
And people aren't, right?
Well,
not happening?
Yeah, they're not thinking about it. They are overthinking it. I would say that. What they aren't thinking about is how their body feels and what their body needs. What we aren't talking about is hunger.
That's probably true. And so Kim is the dietitian. Let me just back up. I probably buried that lead. But so you've obviously seen and heard countless stories.
Yeah.
And people are telling you the story of their life, and probably you go, I think I'm a psychologist, I really do, right?
Yeah.
But you might relate to, what are some of the other, and we might know these two, but what are some of the emotions we're really experiencing? It's not hunger. What is it?
Yeah, well, it's interesting. Emotions actually come and go every 15 minutes. Moods can linger. So emotion can be anything from procrastination, feeling overwhelmed, stressed, tired. Your body recognizes all of it as stress. It can't tell the difference between a lion coming into the room, your body being hungry, or you feeling overwhelmed. And so it's really what you did the last time you felt that way, and your mind reminds you. When you felt this way in your body, you thought food was a good idea.
I see.
Yeah.
And something else, again, just that quick little read that I liked, she was relating a story about her daughter getting a pretzel at the mall. That's kind of exciting. You go to the mall, you equate mall with big pretzel.
Yes.
My daughter did too. But mall plus pretzel equals tummy ache in her case.
Yes.
So instead of Mom saying, that pretzel gives you a tummy ache, you did what? I loved it.
Yeah. So instead I said what I would say to every other person is, why don't you try starting with half and see how you feel? And it turns out she did eat half and her stomach did still hurt. And for her, that was the deciding factor that it's not worth it anymore.
I see. So
Yeah.
good. So it doesn't mean you're going to give up all your favorite foods. I think you have there's like little diary things, maybe give us a couple examples of why, what you might ask people to think about in the book.
There's so many things. First, I would ask them to find their mind, right? Where is their mind? Is it in their body? And so one of the exercises that I love to have people do is to repeat after me, and I say, where is your body? And then they say, where is my body? And then I let them know it's right here. And then I say, where is your mind? And then they actually go and they track their mind. And they find that it's on a thought or a conversation they were having yesterday or 2 days ago, and they're not really interpreting what their messages are in their body, and so they're misunderstanding, and then they're eating. And this is what happens in most addictions anyway, right? Like shopping, cutting, drug addiction, alcoholism, overeating, undereating. They're not really in their body to really feel what they need. And so one thing is to find your mind.
Yeah.
And then to feel safe around being hungry. And that sounds very scary, so I want to quickly follow up by saying you're not meant to stay hungry. You're just meant to get hungry and then eat.
I see.
Trusting that you're going to eat again in 3 hours.
Right. And I also noticed that You know, everybody has a different opinion. Right now, we're all talking about intermittent fasting.
Are we?
Yeah, sadly, heavy sigh, we are, yeah. And I'm so glad you said what you said. I kind of like her more and more. The more I read the book, it's like, God, this is my person. Because I don't know if it's just because I'm smaller or because I exercise, but I've always needed, or I didn't just go for the protein when I woke up in the morning. It's very hard for me to go, yeah, I'm having salmon, you know, or whatever,
Right.
or even eggs. So eating a couple hours, every couple hours, instead of now people decided, you know, we're dinner time and lunch, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, not me, up at 5:30.
Yeah,
right?
you're on your lunch at 10 a.m.
I need stuff. Yeah, so what's your thought on that? I love that.
I think that you've never screwed up your metabolism. I think it's a regular metabolism, and think about a metabolism like a stovetop, and it has 6 to 8 burners. And when you lose weight or when you restrict, you're actually telling your body that there is a famine, and to slow down all body processes and to store everything that's coming in. And so the idea behind these 6 simple rules is really blood sugar regulation, and to make sure that you're eating every 3 hours because you're physically hungry. So we want to turn on those burners by eating small and often. A hungry person, I always say, is a thin person.
Okay.
Right? You don't really find people who are thin restricting. I mean, hopefully. And that didn't actually come out right, because there could be so much wrong with what I just said. But in general, if you think about it, a hungry person is a thin person, which means that the opposite must also be true. If you're overweight, you forgot what hunger feels like, or you don't actually let your body get hungry. And so every single time you're eating, if you're not hungry, it's almost like your gas tank is full and you're overfilling that tank.
I see.
And so we really want to learn to trust our bodies and let them be hungry.
We wanted to discuss, because I've been kind of bowling over with emotion here, but we have to recognize, you're talking hunger. Like, what does hunger feel like? We might not even know. What does hunger feel like?
Okay, well, what does hunger feel like to you?
I get growly here. Sometimes I do get lightheaded. That's kind of a sign that I know I just haven't had either not the right food, or I just didn't eat enough.
So that's low blood pressure. Low
Sugar.
blood sugar, thank you. But hunger, do you find it to be scary?
Just the life I lead, I'm one of those people that always has something nearby, but there have been situations with my husband. He's a front loader. He can have the, the Grand Slam, and I'm like, I already had, the oatmeal and the egg, and I'm good. But it doesn't sustain me all day.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
so that's
only
scary.
A couple hours.
So that's when I'm scared.
So hunger is isolated to your stomach, and it's not scary and it's not painful. But if you ask everybody outside of this space, they will say it's very scary and it's very painful. Some people would even say that hunger is in their chest or in their hands or in their head, and it's isolated just to your stomach.
I see.
And it's almost like a hollowness that then kind of feels like the edges are telling you it's time to eat. And what's actually happening is there's a hormone that is recognizing that the food in your stomach is getting low, and it's sending a signal to your mind it's time to eat. Just like if you had to pee, what's happening is there's a hormone in your bladder sending a signal to your brain, time to eat. And what's really interesting is that nobody just jumps up when they get the thought they have to pee and runs to the bathroom. They literally scan their body. They think, how badly do I have to go?
Can I wait?
Yep. How many, where's the next toilet? Sometimes it gets scary. Sometimes it gets painful, but we all recover and we forget what we were feeling. Hunger is the same thing. It's a natural message from our bodies. And we would all run to the doctor if we stopped having to pee.
Right.
And if you're not hungry, you should also be very aware that's something that needs to be checked in with and paid attention to and fixed.
Gotcha. Very good. So it's kind of cool. And let's also talk then thirst and hydration, because I'm sure you're going to tell me that's important.
Yeah.
And we already know that, but Kim's got some just ideas that we're just here to kind of boost our better life, right? Yeah. So,
but I'm getting so hot, Lori. I'm going to take this off.
Okay. Yeah. You know what? We don't fall on ceremony here. You've seen Zoe run into the picture. She might today.
I'm losing water as we speak.
Right. Malibu is a little toasty right now. It's July, and normally we get through it. But I'm thinking we're talking 80 plus today. Don't be jealous, Phoenix. I know you're 119, but okay. Yeah. So anyway, okay, phew.
Yeah. Thank you.
So yes, hydration.
Yeah, so most people don't drink enough water, and it used to be when I was, coming out of graduate school that we used to count coffee and tea and any fluid like in your vegetables and your soups as water, but I just do not believe in that, because now we're dealing with tannins and salt. So we really just want to drink six to 8 cups of water, but mostly 8 cups every single day. It's the way that we detox our body from our brain all the way down to our kidneys and our liver, and it's actually the secret sauce. If you don't drink enough water, you won't actually be able to lose weight.
Okay, so that means not the watermelon or the chicken soup or whatever. It's literally
in addition to that, you want to have at least 6 to 8, but I'm going to shoot for more 8 depending on the climate you live in.
So those people that are running around with these,
it's not necessary. It's not necessary, and in fact, it could be hurtful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it hyponatremia? Something to that effect?
Yeah. Which means that you're losing your salt. You're getting rid of your salt.
Okay.
We don't want to do that.
Are you a fan of? Obviously not some of these sports drinks, but like this Element. I know there's a new one out that's got a little sugar, a little sodium.
Yeah,
a little bit.
I am a fan, and it serves a purpose. If you're outside in the heat for 2 hours or longer, you probably need a sports drink. And an ideal sports drink actually is a combination of sugar and salt because our cells can't absorb the water without that combination.
It's good to know, guys.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean like, I put soda on the counter. It's like,
no,
we don't need that.
You need like
this
just
much.
A little
bit.
Yeah.
I think a million years ago, there was a magazine called like Epicurean. But they had the best recipe. It was like a little orange juice, a little lemon juice, and you did put salt in it. It was delicious. And it was like, so you don't have to spend any money if you wanted to make it at home.
I love that.
Yeah, that's cool.
I love that, yeah.
Many people talk inflammation. So, oh my salmon, or oh my turmeric with a little grind of pepper, whatever. Are you a fan of saying, let's eat those types of foods? Or is it, I just want you to get what you want and need?
I mean, I'm a registered dietitian. My purpose in helping you is to get healthy and to stay healthy. And so inflammation is really going to reduce the quality of your life in so many different ways. So it's, salmon, turmeric, all these things are delicious and great. The problem is not everybody can tolerate salmon or turmeric, right? Blueberries give me diarrhea and, they make other people feel great. And so it's really an individual situation and figuring out what works for your body and then coming to the conclusion that if it's not good for me, then I'm literally staying in a relationship that's hurting me.
Right.
And so, figuring a way out of that.
Kim told me that about coffee, even though I didn't tell her it was coffee that was bothering my stomach. But I do. I can't break up with coffee. I'm sorry.
Wait, what's going on?
I wait. First I have tea. My body likes tea. And then I wait until about 10. And then I have coffee. But it brings an acid response. I do. Not like burning hole in my stomach, but I burp.
Well,
yeah. I have a little burping.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, have you tried low acid coffee?
I now have one that was like pure. That doesn't mean it is low acid, but it's almost like dangerous, or it was one of those that's organic and no toxins and no whatever. $24 a pound, whatever.
Yeah.
And I cold brew it. Now I still tolerate it, but I'm just noticing that it brings a little response.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you burp like during the rest of the day, or is it just after around the coffee?
It's more that than it is. Yeah. Sometimes I'll have a little burp here and there, but not.
Is your stomach making noise?
No. Yeah.
Are you getting bloated?
No.
Okay, so you don't really have signs of inflammation.
Oh, good.
That way.
You guys don't need to diagnose, but I just felt like I'd ask. Yeah. Since she's here.
Yeah. But also, I would play around with the different coffees.
Okay.
Because anytime you're bringing the acid up, that's a problem.
Yeah. But I don't want to break up with I love
But
the
what if
smell.
what if you just worked on healing the lining of your gut?
Yeah.
And you do that by adding like flaxseed or chia seed, probiotics.
I'm like the most dynamic. You would like me. Kim said, hey, could you go get like what we would call a normal serving of food, which is sort of tragic because this in today's life is a normal serving, right? You're a little bit not even surprised by that. I didn't even have to go to Claim Jumper. It was just at the regular grocery store. But you might say that's too much. Would you say that?
No.
That's not enough?
I would say that's just what it is.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have any judgment. I like how interesting it is that it's on a small plate.
Yeah.
I love that. So what's interesting about the normal portion is that we can't really interpret a normal portion based on something that we're just buying or the chef is preparing, right?
Okay.
It's very important for us to be in tune with what our own body needs.
Okay. Yeah.
And so
this might be enough. This might be okay for someone.
This could be 1 meal, 2 meals, or 3 meals. It really is dependent upon the person, what they've been doing, what they've eaten last, how hungry they are, how much muscle they have, how much body fat they have, what's going on in their own world.
Yeah.
So what I would recommend if this is your portion is to start with half. Now, sometimes people think, okay, then I can for sure eat this whole half. But judging by the size of this, we could...
Yeah. I'll take that.
Yeah.
You guys, can you see the size of my hand? It's not that huge, but like seriously, like that one, that seems like I would be happy with that, I'm thinking. But
I'm not sure if I would be happy.
Really?
It would really depend on the day and again, what is going on with me.
Right.
But I would recommend two things. In order to be successful at losing weight, I would recommend cutting this in half and putting this half on hold. And waiting 15 minutes to see if you need more food.
Okay.
And the other piece of that is just because you have permission to eat half doesn't mean you need the half.
Right, okay.
Really be in tune with how much you need. And as you keep going and practicing this, you get better and better at interpreting what your body needs.
Are you kind of a fan of let's make sure there's enough protein in a meal, or is that of no consequence?
I mean, there is protein in this.
Yes.
And there is protein in the turkey.
Yeah,
and you're going to eat 21 meals this week. You're going to have hopefully 4 or 5 meals today. So if some
you don't mind if it's not, if you've got a meal of 10 grams of protein, if you guys are counting or even know this game, you're okay with that?
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, this is well past 10. And I'm also okay with you not worrying about it and just being intentional in some meals, right? Some meals might be salmon and broccoli with a potato, or just salmon, depending. So this is balance.
Okay.
I'm good for that.
I like that.
Yeah.
That was my meal last night, right? Salmon and broccoli. Okay. I love that. That's a great idea. So a long time ago, I don't know if you were even born, there was a thing called the MacArthur Plan. I think it was called MacArthur. But the idea was, if you like I make these muffins, they are protein packed muffins. My husband wants a little breakfast in the morning, has chocolate chips, is really good. Kodiak Cakes is the brand, guys, in case you ever want to look at the muffin mix recipe on the back, whatever. But the idea is, I really love donuts, or I really love cake. And so this MacArthur Plan was designed to say, when you have cake in the house, make sure you always have enough cake. So if you get down to that 1 or 2 slices, you're going to go, I'm just going to eat this and I'm never going to have any more cake again.
Yeah.
And do you kind of go with that thing, like make sure you have enough so that you don't use that excuse, because of course you're going to have cake again, right?
Our mind and our body need to know that we're safe at all times. And so by telling your mind, I can have more later, you're actually putting yourself in a very safe place so you don't feel restricted. If we restrict, then we binge.
Okay. So safety is a game here then, right?
Yeah.
This is a big message?
Yeah, it's a really big message.
That's kind of
because
interesting.
when you look at this, you're not just talking to the person who's already done the work, who knows how to build muscle, who is aging well. You're not talking to that person. You're talking to the person who's been yo-yo dieting their whole life, who's frustrated that they can't keep 20 pounds off.
Right.
And they restrict this food.
What do you think, though, about people who, we live in Los Angeles and there are some crazies, right? If the cacao in the bar is not 86%, they're not having it. The health halo thing, does that wear off a little bit? Do you maybe you don't worry about them because at least they're getting their macros in. But, do you say, you're not allergic to gluten or intolerant of it. Maybe you're just a little bit fussy. You know what I'm saying?
Because they want to feel safe.
Yeah.
Because they don't feel safe around food. And I want them to feel safe around food.
Okay.
I want them to look at this banana and say, you know what, I'm going to treat all food as a banana. And I'm going to do, if I handed you a banana, what would you do with that?
That's pretty big. I'd probably eat half of it. I might put nut butter on it.
Okay, but you would think, why is Kim handing me a banana?
Oh, yeah. Okay, yes, I would. Especially right now.
That's what you would do, right. And then you would also say, am I hungry for it? And if you weren't, you'd put it on hold. Yes. If we thought of all of this as a banana, and I handed this to you, you would say, why is Kim handing this to me? Am I hungry right now? No, I'm not. I'm going to put it on hold for later.
I see. And that's a safety code. I like
safety.
Ooh, that's so good.
Because we want people to be able to lose weight and keep it off.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's good. I love that. So one thing, Kim and I, we kind of did a little preliminary phone call. We talked about something called, it was just in the New York Times yesterday, was your glucose monitors. Okay, it's kind of a hot thing. Well, if you're diabetic, it's not hot. You're just necessary. You're reading how whatever you ate reacts in your system. Like, whoa, even if it's a sweet potato or porridge, it could be something that really affects your blood sugar. Maybe I don't, maybe you do. So this is kind of a thing. And now, quote unquote normal people, non-diabetics are deciding this is kind of fun. And you're saying, I'm obsessed with it, which is kind of cool. I haven't done it, but I kind of want to be obsessed with it.
I mean, I'm obsessed with blood sugar and always have been. That's what the 6 simple rules are based on, because that's how we protect ourselves and have a better quality of life in general.
Okay.
Yeah. So I highly recommend everybody go out and try this to see how they're being affected by the food they're eating or the food they think they love.
Yes.
Right?
And so are you wearing it?
I'm not wearing it. I don't have it.
Okay. So I think it sticks here or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think you take there's like a code, your phone, you and your phone. And then it gives you readings, but then there's also explanations too. It's not like, what is the deciliter or whatever. Like it kind of gives you it tells you why you might be
I just had a client, her and her best friend were both wearing it, and they are 50, and they went to a restaurant, and they said it was a healthy restaurant, and I'm not a huge fan of labels, that's why I'm saying healthy.
There was a quote.
And they got themselves a salad, and then they finished the meal with an acai bowl. And my client's best friend is normal weight, and her blood sugars responded naturally and rebounded quickly. And my client, who needs to lose 40 pounds, her blood sugar spiked well past 200, which is 100 over where it should be, and she couldn't recover for hours.
Whoa.
Yeah, but this was what she called healthy, and so for her it was a really good lesson to see, like, oh, that food is actually affecting me in a very dangerous way.
Right.
Yeah.
And guys, there's this huge convention every year. I don't know if you've been to the Natural Product Expo, but we all laugh about it because it's got probably not most of the products here, but if it's quote unquote natural, but there's really no scientific, legal, government labels for the term natural. I mean, it's a real fine line of what natural means. So it's hundreds and hundreds of ingredients and foods, and it's really fun. And you go and you taste all this stuff, and you think, you get in the car and you go, did I eat anything green today? No. It's all this stuff. And so the bottom line on that is healthy is a real funny term. I mean, there just isn't a lot of legislation. I think we'd have to say organic is probably our most strong government regulated nutrition fact. So when you see cage-free, sadly, or free range, or natural, or even grass-fed, which is sad, you might not always be getting what you think you are. I'm sure that's another segment for another time, but so sad. So anyway, sometimes that health halo, as we were talking about, although I think this is healthy, I really do. I love bark fence. I mean,
well, if it's not upsetting your stomach and you're not having diarrhea, you're not clearing your throat, you're not bloated, then it actually may not be causing an inflammatory response because your gut is already healthy.
Yeah, I love that.
And so you want to protect that.
I know, it is. I do. I have. I do. I protect it and keep it in the pantry. my husband's the M&M man. He's the M&M and graham cracker guy. All right, so we've talked a bunch about a lot of different things, guys. And I just want Kim to tell me sort of kind of a tie the bow around this. Bottom line on our relationship with food. Safety, you've recommended, hydration, portions, and questioning whether we need something when we do. What are we missing?
I would say the bottom line is get curious. Everybody should be curious about what their own body needs and not be worrying about what anyone else is doing.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And that's hard to do, especially if you work in an office, right?
Yeah.
People have their thing. When I worked at Channel 7, I loved it. People would parade by, if they had their oatmeal with blueberries, Lori, look at, but if they went to the snack machine around 3 or 4 o'clock, they went way beyond my cubicle and kind of did a little ducking. Hilarious.
That is funny.
Care. Yeah, I know. So I agree with you.
So funny.
One of the other big problems, guys, is doing something, we pairing eating with something else, right?
Yeah.
This is usually in most people's hands. Oh, I hate that. I go to a restaurant, I'm looking at everybody with their head down. I mean, 4 people sitting at a table and their heads are down and they're not saying prayers, right?
Yeah.
So this is probably a distraction and not good.
Yeah.
You're gonna tell me that, right?
Yeah. I would say removing distractions is the #1 way to be successful at losing weight and keeping it off. We really have to be paying attention to what our thoughts are and what our messages are coming into our mind. And so if we are distracted, we can't tell if we're enjoying the TV show or the book we're reading or the food we're eating. And we can't remember if we're hungry. One mom was telling me a story about her son came into the kitchen and she said, "What are you doing?" And the son says, "I'm grabbing a snack." And the mom says, "But you just ate lunch and you have your tutor right now." He goes, "I know, but I need something fun in my mouth."
So cute and sad.
It's not okay.
I need something fun in my mouth.
And we can do the hard things. We can stay uncomfortable for a few minutes and be tutored without putting food in our mouth.
Yeah. And I think in the book you also said food comes up 220 times a day. I don't know what way.
Yeah, we think about food 221 times. We make 221 food choices every single day.
That's beyond the breakfast, lunch, dinner in my world. 220?
Yeah.
Who counted that?
You know what? That's a good question. I'm sorry I don't have the study for you.
That's a lot.
I'll get that for you.
And I actually was telling Kim, and I wish I'll have to reach out and try to find out this woman. But when I was working at Channel 7, there was a woman that had an eating meditation, and we all sat at this big table, and they brought all these great foods, and I'm talking bacon and waffles and pancakes, and so it wasn't just like healthy food, but foods that could be maybe just maybe suggestively fun. But the way she made us put the food in front of us and admire the shape and then smell it and then put it in our mouth and hold it in our mouth for a minute and then chew. And then to your point, maybe chewing more than a couple times, right? I was so full and it took me forever to eat, but it was great.
Yeah.
So is that another tip?
I mean, the thing is that we really do want to be in a relationship with our body. And so chewing our food is how we break down our food. And so if we don't chew our food properly and get it broken down, we end up with lots of digestive distress.
I see.
So it's very important to break it down the right way.
I bet you don't like it when you're at a restaurant and you see like the little kid with his own screen. Do you ever see that?
I don't, but I totally understand it.
Yes. Yes, you have children. Yes. Can we please get through this meal? Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. And I think we have to kind of come to terms with the fact that it is an electronic world.
Yeah, and to that point, it would be great for a parent to feel very comfortable playing games with their children, because when we use our imagination, our kids can do so much more. So can we, actually. Right. And so being mindful, to your point about the meditation, is even saying like to your children, where is this food from? Who do you think picked it? How do you think it got to the table? What market did it come from? Right? Really engaging with the food.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't really even touch on people that are maybe thin and their kids have a problem. That's a hard one.
Yeah, it is tough.
Yeah, that's because that's a little bit like your pretzel talk with your daughter. I don't even know what shape she's in, but I know, my daughter, there's always time in their life where they're a little out of sorts with their body, and it's really hard because you've already been there, right?
Yeah. I mean, she was very young when that happened. But our job is not to police them. Our job is to help them understand their own bodies and to be their own advocates.
That's great.
Yeah.
I think this is fascinating. This book, is it just brand new out?
It's coming out this week, yes.
This week. So by the time you guys see this book will be out. Yeah. I'm assuming I can get it anywhere is. Yes, yeah. Okay. So this is what you are really hungry for. I'm telling you, this is a game changer. And oftentimes it's just what we need. It's that one little thought process or push. I mean, like watching a show like this, or when I listen to a podcast, it's like you're just doing your mascara or scrubbing your teeth and somebody says something and you go, wow, I think this is the game changer. I think this is a great idea because, you guys have heard, what's green and what protein does and what a carbohydrate might be and whatever. So if you can think for yourself and find a safe space, that's awesome. Yeah. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you.
And thanks, guys, for joining us at the Malibu studio. Please come back and see us again. And feel free to DM me on Instagram. I'm at Lori Corbin TV. And Kim, you are?
Kim Shapira Method.
Perfect. All right. We will see you again.